Today's recipe calls for granulated sugar. I'm going to show you how to make sugar cookies with a fall twist, also known as pumpkin sugar cookies. They have all the fall spices and flavor, all wrapped up in this little circle thingy, also known as a cookie. But anyways, they're super soft and very delicious. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we need to do to make this fall sweet treat is prep all of our dry goods into one. Collect a small holding device and a fine mesh strainer. To that, dump in 2.5 cups or 300 grams all-purpose flour. Following that, add half a teaspoon baking powder. Next, add in the pumpkin spice flavor pack. Start with half a teaspoon cinnamon, half a teaspoon ground ginger, half a teaspoon ground mace. Finally, half a teaspoon of allspice. Sift everything into one giant dusty mess. This helps break up any flour clumps that may be present. It also starts to mix the powders together. Make it hail half a teaspoon of sea salt. The last spice we'll add is half a teaspoon freshly ground nutmeg. Give the microplane a tappy tap to knock loose any spice that may be stuck. The pre-ground stuff will also work, just add it with the rest of the dry goods. Whisk your face off to bring it all into one cohesive collection of ingredients. You know you did a good job if you see a ton of little speckles throughout the flour. Set that aside so we can move on to the wet goods. Grab a stand mixer with a paddle attachment or a hand mixer with a large bowl. To that, we'll add in 14 tablespoons or 196 grams of room temperature unsalted butter. Turn the machine onto medium speed to break up the butter. We want to break it up a little bit before we add the sweet stuff in. Once things are broken up a bit, dump in 3/4 cup or 150 grams granulated sugar. Following that cavity creator, add the other one, also known as 3/4 cup or 150 grams dark brown sugar. Break apart any brown sugar clumps before you add it in. This will help ensure it'll be well mixed in. Now that the sweet tiny crystals are in the bowl, we need to cream the sugar and butter together for around 5 to 6 minutes on a medium to high speed, or until the butter has doubled in size and has become lighter in color. If you want a really soft cookie, it's imperative that you do this step. The small sugar grains will cut the butter, making very super tiny little air pockets. So when they bake, those pockets of air will expand in the oven, making our cookies rise, leaving behind those tiny pockets, giving us an ultra soft cookie. Throughout this process, scrape down the bowl and attachment. This will help ensure everything becomes well mixed together. In the end, it should look something like this and feel really light on the end of the spatula. Pro tip, scrape down the bowl and attachment before you add the next ingredient throughout this process. Once things have reached this point, we can add the main ingredient, which is half a cup or 120 grams pumpkin puree. Make sure it's puree and not pumpkin pie filling. Give that a mixer on medium speed until the butter sugar mixture becomes a light orange color. Following that, make it rain 1 tablespoon vanilla extract. The next thing we'll add in is 1 egg yolk from a large room temp eggie. I think the easiest way to do this is crack it into a separate container and simply fish out the yolk. You may have to pass it back and forth between your fingers to get rid of more of the egg white. After the yolk has been added to the bowl, wash your mitts really well. Mix the yolk until fully incorporated with the other ingredients. Give the bowl a scrapey before we add the dry stuff. Using a spoon, add in about half of the dry stuff. I like doing it this way because it'll help us not overwork the dough, while also making sure it becomes mixed in. Mix in the first half right up to the point that you can no longer see it on a medium to low speed. Once you've reached that point, dump in the last half. Again, only mixing right up to the point where you no longer see any flour. We do not want to overwork the cookie dough. Doing so will activate the gluten, giving us a tough and dense cookie. We spent all that time creaming the butter and sugar together, so we don't want to lose all that hard work the machine did. If you're worried about overworking the dough, stop using the mixer and simply fold the dough together with a rubber spat. When you do this, the cookie dough goo should feel really light and airy. This is a good indication that we cream the goods together for the right amount of time. And also, it means we have not overworked or mixed the dough. When you have achieved the perfect cookie dough, make everything into one even layer. Ensure you scrape down the side walls of the bowl to get all the goods into one place. Next, cover it with some type of protective layer like plastic wrap. Ensure you adhere the wrap to the dough to help the top from drying out, making a crusty layer. When covered, snag the bowl. Huck that thing into the fridge box for 30 to 45 minutes. While that's resting, catch up on some dish or start prepping some half trays. Use some parchment paper to cover the tray, or in my case, use some silicone baking mats. These are well worth the investment of buying. Any Hoosiers, when the dough is almost done taking its sweet little nap, preheat the oven box to 350 Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. While that's becoming all hot and steamy, pull the dough out of the fridge so we can start forming the cookies. Make each cookie into about a 1-inch sized ball, or something that is 7 ounces or 20 grams worth. Should be about a tablespoon sized ball. A cookie scoop is ideal for this task, but my scoop is broken, so a scale is the next best choice. It'll help ensure all of our cookies are as close to the same size as possible. When you have the first cookie made, drop it into a small container that has some granulated sugar in it. Roll the ball around to fully coat it in the sugar. It's imperative to do this step because it's a sugar cookie after all. Transfer it over to the baking sheet. Once the cook is on the tray, slightly flatten the cookie out into something that is about 1/2 inch thick, give or take. We'll test bake a single cookie. This way we can adjust things as needed, like bake time, cookie size, and whatever else you believe that needs to be adjusted. This will help them bake flat, ensuring the center will be done. Toss the first cookie in. When you're happy with the test bake, let's roll on making the rest. Repeat the same step of making each cookie into dough balls that weigh 7 ounces or 20 grams, then rolling them into the sugar. Line your tray with as many cookies as you can, leaving about 2 inches between each one, giving them space to spread out while they bake. Once the tray has been lined out, grab the sheet of goods. Huck that thing into the preheated oven on the middle rack for the best results. Bake the cookies for 10 to 12 minutes or until the edges of the cooks have set. Times may vary depending on how hot your little oven runs. Another key step to making the perfectly soft cookie is to not overbake them. It helps to know once they've been pulled out of the oven, they will carry over bake. So if they seem very slightly underdone, the carryover bake will finish them. Alternatively, if they are perfectly baked, then pulled out, they will carry over bake, turning them super hard. So long story short, it all comes down to timing things just right. It's a bit tricky to learn at first, but once figured out, you'll be known as making the best cookies ever. It took me some time to figure it out. Anywho, once the buzzer rings, pull those sweet treats out of the heat. Allow the cookies to rest on the tray for around 5 to 6 minutes. This will give them the chance to fully set up. Repeat the same process until all of the cookies have been baked off. I forgot to mention earlier, this size of cookie will give you around 42 to 43 cookies, which of course is awesome because more cookies are always better. After the cookies have cooled and set up completely, transfer them over to a wire rack to completely cool down. Eat these soft cookies with a pumpkin spice latte or use them to make an ice cream sandwich. Whatever you decide to do, just enjoy.
Now that our pumpkin sugar cookies are done, let's give them the old taste-a-roo. So looking at them, they came out super aesthetically pleasing. They have a nice orange hint of color to them. Then the bottom got that sweet caramelization, which brings that dark brown, which is also gonna bring a ton of flavor. And if you squint hard enough, you can see all those tiny little speckles of spices that are in there. Then if you hit the light just right, you can see the sparkle from all the sugar that's on top, because of course it's a sugar cookie. They look like they're gonna be super soft and just delicious. So let's give it a shot. It came apart with ease, looks very fluffy and delicious, and yeah. These cookies came out so dang good. They have a nice pumpkin flavor to them. It's not overpowering by any means. It's kind of faint and in the background, which is perfect since these are supposed to be more of a sugar cookie. but all those little spices that we added in there, from the cinnamon and the ginger and the mace and allspice and all that other good stuff, really enhances the pumpkin flavor, and it's basically the fall season in a cookie that's edible. It's super dang good. Then you get a faint hint of vanilla extract in the background as well. You get a ton of richness and fat from all that butter that we added. That caramelization that we got on the bottom of the cookies brings a ton of flavor to the table as well. They're slightly sweet from all that danged sugar, and the brown sugar is super tasty and it's way better than regular granulated sugar. Just don't tell them that I said that. But anyways, these cookies are super dang soft as well. They're basically pillows that you could sleep on because that's how soft, light, and airy they are. Then of course the bottom and the edges got a little bit of crunch to it, so you get the best of both worlds. Overall, these things are so dang good. This recipe is super simple to knock out, and it's perfect for any novice baker out there because they're that easy to make. And you can make these any which way you want. Maybe tone down the cinnamon and add more ginger or more mace because those are your two favorite spices over cinnamon. Or get real bougie with it and sprinkle the cookies with a maple sugar instead. It is real, I looked into it. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. And I've ate way too many of these, so I'm gonna go eat like a handful of spinach or maybe a carrot stick to feel a little bit better about myself. And I'm definitely gonna go brush my teeth. So with that said, we'll see you on the next one. Now that our orange cookies done, let's give them any minch fan, all those little spices that we ended whatever you want, or